last night, Dallas, while the A's were busy losing to the Cardinals, Shohei Ohtani hit his first home run since April 26th. Finally off the schneid, as they say.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was big. That was big because, no one has any doubts about the pitching side of it, but offensively it's been a struggle over the last, call it 2-3 weeks. And, that was a big swing. He's on the mound tonight, yeah?
Yep.
Wow, Shohei Ohtani bump day against Robbie Ray. That'll be a good matchup.
Yeah. But
Giants feeling better about themselves. I don't know if you saw them having sex in the outfield.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the boys just want to bump. Why can't we let the boys bump? I don't understand.
But still, sometimes baseball is going to baseball. The baseball gods giveth, the baseball gods taketh. And then you go to Yoshinobu Yamamoto, a very concerning trend we talked about last time on the postgame show. Yamamoto has given up too many home runs this season. He's been getting barreled up too much this season. Yamamoto, the Dodgers World Series hero, who pitched so many innings in the postseason and pitched on no days rest. I wouldn't be surprised to see him get some rest at some point. He ended up going 37 3/3 innings. That was the most of any Dodger in the postseason last year. Was great, had a 1.45 ERA in his .78 whip in the World Series, won the MVP, had a 9-inning complete game in the NLCS. He was fantastic. Here's the thing, though. He also pitched the WBC, and he's also trying to win a Cy Young this year. But Yamamoto is running into some trouble this year when it comes to the home run ball. He's already given up 8 home runs this year after giving up 14 home runs last year. He's on pace to give up over 30 home runs. That's a lot of dingers. That's too many dingers. I mean, that's Yoshinobu Lance Linamoto. We can't have that. And what you're seeing is the issue. What you're seeing the issue for him is this is his baseball savant, and typically he misses barrels. He's not. His barrel percentage, he's in the 24th percentile. He's below average in hard hit. He's not walking guys, has a little bit of above average strikeout rate. But when it comes to average exit velocity, when it comes to expected batting average, when it comes to barrel rate and hard hit ball, guys are hitting him very hard this year. Dodgers haven't had a guy give over 30 bombs since Jeff Weir gave 31 dingers in 2005. And I think he's going to make the adjustments. I don't expect him to give 30 home runs, but that certainly is an issue. And credit him for not walking any guys last night, didn't walk any Giants hitters. So those home runs did not end up as home runs as 2, 3, 4 grand slam, 2-run, 3-run, or grand slams or anything like that. But still, solo shots. Gave up 3 runs. Not the best version of Yamamoto. So we've talked about not getting the best version of Dodgers hitters. We also aren't getting the best version of Yoshinobu Yamamoto this year. Even though he's still above average, it's not the Yamamoto you were hoping to get. And on the hitting side, the positive last night, I'm telling you, I don't know if I look tired. I lose sleep when Shohei doesn't hit, okay? I've been losing sleep, and it hasn't been fun. But last night we did see him get an opposite field home run. The timing, the rhythm looked a little better. I've been told from people within the Dodgers that, hey, it's about pitch selection, timing, rhythm. When he has on-field BP, he can see the trajectory of the ball, get the rhythm, see the backspin. It's a different look, so it definitely helps him. But you need to see Shohei start to hit and hit in bunches and start to slug. Thankfully, he's one of the best hitters in the history of June. And Shohei only has an OPS above 1,000 for a month in the month of June. So that definitely is exciting to know. We're almost at June. That's June Tani, where that month he really goes off. But we've got some sound from Aaron Bates, the Dodgers hitting coach. And I hear people out there, Dodgers should fire their hitting coaches. Just kind of getting into contact with some Dodgers-related former players and current people in the team. a lot of things that I asked was the last 48 hours was, hey, how important are the hitting coaches? And you've heard different things throughout the years. And basically what I've been told is they have a game plan as a team. But when it comes to swinging and decisions, that's up to the player, man. The hitting coach, Aaron Bates, ain't swinging the bat. Robert Skoyak ain't swinging the bat. Dave Roberts ain't swinging the bat. It's on the players. All right, let's hear from Aaron Bates.
Well, I am joined by hitting coach Aaron Bates. And Aaron, I know when we look at the offense right now, the big question is just kind of trying to find these guys getting going, especially in key situations. Yesterday, their group had 10 hits. They had the opportunities, but unable to really convert those into runs. When you're looking at this group right now, what are you just seeing from the collective of this offense at the moment?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're some are going through it, some are not. Some having great at bats. I think we're one hit away. I felt the same way in St. Louis. We're kind of one hit away from breaking it open yesterday the same way. They just got to stick to their process, stick to their their routines, and which they have been doing, and getting good pitch to hit, swinging good pitches. But as a group, that's kind of how it goes. You're always one hit away, or they're having good at bats, taking their walks, that sort of thing.
Yeah, there are guys that are there. I think Max Muncy is very much one of them. What are you seeing from him right now? And is this the best that you've seen from him really since that elbow injury?
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could say since 21, when he had a great year, 21 for the whole year. I'd say right now he's just a complete hitter. He's taking his walks when they're there. He's driving the ball. I mean, the at bat the other day when the guy made the catch was just an incredible bat all around. Just as far as the way he got to 3-1, then 3-2, then the swing he put on that 3-2 pitch. So it was nice to see him get reward later in the game. But he's just a complete hitter and just taking what the pitchers give him.
Yeah, another guy who's there is Andy Pajes. What has been the biggest difference for him when you look at him with how he finished end of last year to who he is coming into the season, his pitch selection, and even as to where his swing is at?
Yeah, I mean, his swing is definitely in a better place, I think, than it was. He's worked really hard this winter on making some adjustments, with his load and gather, a little more consistent. His bat pat's is probably where it was in the first half of 2025. And now, obviously cleaning up some other things. But he's a student of the game. He loves baseball. He loves hitting. So I'm not surprised with his success because of how hard he works. But it's great when you see a young player like that, works as hard as he does, get the results that he wants.
Of course, when it comes to, you've got positives, but there are a few guys that are really struggling right now and searching for it. Shohei Ohtani is very much one of them. He's not taking batting practice twice in the last week. I know he comes to you guys with that, but what has he shared with you all that he's looking to feel right now?
I think it's like with every hitter, they want to feel some timing things. They want to feel their body move in a certain way. Obviously with Shohei pitching, so it's a little bit more of a workload on the body and the mind in that sense. So I think the batting practice is for his feels, so he can see the ball flight a little bit, change up his environment. But the biggest thing is, with him is pitch selection, and when he gets a good pitch to hit, being able to get his A swing off, which he usually does, and he gets pitched tougher than most, obviously. And I think everything's a little bit more magnified for him when he gets a hit and when he gets out in that sort of a sense. But it's kind of one of those things where never as bad as we think we're, never as good as we think we're at the same time, somewhere in the middle. But, Show works really hard, so it's easy to be in it with him in that sense, and then you just support him and do anything you can to kind of help him get out of it.
A part of your job is also understanding, though, just what each player needs. Every guy is obviously very different. With someone like Shohei Ohtani, how does he go about changing things? Is he coming to you or RBS to talk things out? Is he someone who likes to look back at film as to when he maybe felt at his best? How is he really kind of navigating these moments?
Yeah, I mean, he's a student of the game too, so he uses video, he'll use data, he'll ask questions about as far as what the differences are, the biggest things, side-by-side video. It's basically they're casual conversations that happen. Nothing's forced or sit-downs in that sort of sense. It's a lot like the other hitters too. He's got more going on as far as his pitching goes, and his bullpen's different times, so there's probably less windows for it to happen. But if you have something for him, you can bring it to him, or he'll ask questions when he wants it. But it's just like any other guy, all these guys, they want to be coached, and they give you good feedback, and so you just kind of keep bringing them things, and also you give them any of the hitters enough space where they need to work through it too. So it's not just after one at bat you have to change something and that sort of thing. I think it's important to remember how hard hitting is in the first place and how hard these guys throw, and then it takes a little bit of time for them to work through it. It's kind of like baby steps every day, and then you small wins, and then you slowly build it up, and then before you know it, you're unconscious, you're on fire, and but it's not lightning in the bottle or one swing thought the rest of your life type of thing.
Yeah, when he obviously in 2024 had a remarkable season at the plate, or the 50 home runs in the regular season, is that a season that he looks to as to where he wants his swing to be, or are there moments that you're finding that he's kind of looking at certain footage or video and understanding this might be a better position that I want to get back to that I'm trying to right now?
Before that year it was July of 23 he liked. Obviously the end of the season, September of 24, September, when he hit the 50th homer in Miami. We use that as a reference point a lot. Last May of 25, he was 1100 OPS type guy. It's great, great month. Those are the positions you can kind of look back at, and there's a lot of different options in there. Obviously, even the 3-home run game against the Brewers last year, it's a little bit different. So there's a lot of variables for different positions that may look different, but there's commonalities in those swings that allow him to be successful. So, yeah, I would say he looks at those kind of months to kind of gauge where he's at now compared to where he's at then, and then you got to take into account who's pitching and all those different factors. But those are the months. I'd say May of 25, and I would say September of 24.
Yeah, if you had to point to one thing just before I let you go that's maybe missing just from the group right now, what would you say with the offense is just the one thing you're hoping to see turn the page, hopefully starting tonight?
Just do the same thing they did last night as far as putting themselves in opportunities to succeed, give themselves run-scoring situations, and keep at it. If you put yourself in enough of those opportunities, someone's going to break through and get a big hit, and then we know how that goes. It's a domino effect, and we'll score a bunch of runs.
Well, hopefully that happens tonight. Aaron, thank you as always, and best of luck this evening.
Thanks for having me.
There was Aaron Bates, and look, he said a lot of things that I feel make sense as far as, hey, Shohei has certain times in his career where you can go back and look at 2023 in July or September of 2024, May of 2025, where he's locked in, everything from a posture standpoint, an approach standpoint, the lower body standpoint, everything is in sync and in line, and you want to see him get back to that. I think that's kind of the low-hanging fruit. I think that if you blame the hitting coaches, I do think that lets the Dodgers players off the hook. These guys have to succeed or fail. These guys have to contribute. These guys have to produce. And a lot of these guys are veterans that know what works for them. Freddie knows what works for him. He used a different approach where he kind of had his foot in, like a Corey Seager-like stance, and you got guys that are just very accustomed to what feels right from a rhythm, from a timing standpoint. They know what their A swing looks like. So I don't put too much on these hitting coaches. I think ultimately when the Dodgers do have that postseason loss, if they have a really bad offensive year where things are down across the board, I think that's certainly an area where you can look at and say, oh, okay, someone's got to fall on the sword, and it probably could be the hitting coaches at one point. But hey, I think that there's a positive in this. Yeah, you want the positive. You guys want the eternal optimist, the Michelada half full, right? I'm not here to be Dougie Downer on this one. And I think the positive in this is hopefully this is going to accomplish a couple things. And the three things I really want to see the Dodgers do is, yes, I love seeing Shohei hit and pitch. That's what makes him a unicorn. I think if you scale back on that, where he hasn't been as good of a hitter this year in general, but also on days that he pitches, if you scale back on that, that opens things up not just to get rest for Shohei, that opens things up to get rest for Freddie. And Freddie wants 3,000 hits. He wants to be in the lineup. He wants to be a productive hitter. Guess what? Being a Gold Glove first baseman, I don't think is something that he's chasing. He's already accomplished that. So on days that Shohei doesn't hit when he pitches, when he's not the DH, I know everyone wants to see Dalton Rushing take those opportunities. I think that this is a perfect opportunity to develop Dalton Rushing as a defensive first baseman, and you put Freddie Freeman at the DH spot. I think that's what makes the most logical sense, because it takes Freddie off his feet defensively. It helps develop Dalton defensively at first. Maybe one day he plays there if Will Smith stays behind the dish. And you get Dalton's bat in the lineup. You get Freddie's bat still in the lineup. The younger guy's playing the defense, and he's off, and he's developing. And then Freddie still gets to hit. And that's the number one thing that he's here for. And then on top of that, Shohei Ohtani gets to focus and concentrate on pitching, and it doesn't wear him down offensively as well. And then also, I think, and I've harped on this, I've said this for a while now, if Mookie Betts is going to bat at the top of the lineup, whether it's 1, 2, 3, 4, which at his contract and his history in the back of his baseball card and what it says, a future Hall of Famer, not because of his defensive prowess, which definitely contributes, but if Mookie was a 200 hitter with 6 Gold Gloves in right field, he would not make the Hall of Fame. He's going to be in Cooperstown one day because of what he's done at the plate. And the truth is, with Mookie Betts, I looked it up this morning, in his career over 1,000 games as a leadoff hitter, he has a 910 OPS. A 910 OPS. That's all-star, above average. That's the version of Mookie Betts, who has been one of the best leadoff hitters in the history of Major League Baseball. That's where he's at his best. So if you're trying to take a Mookie Betts who's struggled to hit like the player he has throughout most of his career for the last couple of years, if you want to get the best of him, why aren't you batting him in the lineup where he is at his best? That's at the leadoff spot. Guess what? Where Mookie Betts has had the second most at-bats of his career in the 2-hole, he has a 797 OPS. So 910 to 797. The math ain't mathin' here as far as this decision. If you want to get the best version of Mookie Betts, that version is at leadoff. And in the 2-hole, it doesn't make sense if he's going to hit the 797 OPS. 3-hole, even worse. Batting cleanup, even worse. So to me, it's either leadoff or way down the lineup. So why don't you give Shohei a different look? Why don't you give Shohei some different opportunities? I think it makes the most sense right there. And then clearly the plan for Shohei is to scale back a little offensively. Dave Roberts said he was going to go back on his plan yesterday with Shohei not in the lineup on Wednesday, and he's not going to bat Thursday either. So Dave Roberts is going to keep the plan the same. Here was Dave Roberts talking about Shohei Ohtani and the plan for him and what they expect out of him, what they're going to do, because it's clear to me that they're taking precautions, and they know that it's very difficult. It's very taxing to hit and pitch at the same time. He's not getting any younger. He's played a lot of baseball. What WBC? Here was Dave Roberts talking about the plan for Shohei as a hitter.
I do know he's not going to hit on Thursday. I do know that. And then as far as tomorrow, I haven't decided yet. Probably leaning towards not having him hit tomorrow. Thinking that, it might just be a good thing to take a little bit of a load off of his plate offensively. But I haven't made that decision. Maybe some of it is affected by tonight, but I don't know. Like I said, I'm probably leaning towards not having him hit for the next two days. The pros are taking the hitting part off his plate, letting his body recover a little bit as far as being a two-way player for a couple days, playing more the longer view, potentially giving him a reset on the offensive side. The cons is just not being able to write his name in the lineup at the top of the order.
So there you have it. He's going to stick to his guns, and we'll see how it plays out, because right now Shohei is basically the 75th, give or take, best hitter in baseball. 75th. Think about what if I told you that 2 months ago? Would you believe me that we're a quarter of a way through the season and Shohei's 75th as a hitter? Yikes. Big yikes. Biggest yikes. All right, let's get to a quick injury update. Ben Kasparius, he's been throwing at the Dodgers complex in Arizona. He's on the 15-day IL. And where the Dodgers are at, you never know if you're going to need pitchers and when you're going to need those pitchers. And we understand that, hey, this is a guy that helped this team a lot last year. And he was very important as far as a guy that 8 innings as a starter out of the bullpen. So I still feel like he doesn't get talked about enough. Very effective four-seam fastball when he's right. And I think with Ben Kasparius, I wouldn't rule out him helping this team this year. I mean, right shoulder inflammation. He's got that throwing program in. Kike Hernandez recovering from left elbow surgery. He's expected to be back on May 25th. He began a rehab assignment with AAA Oklahoma City on May 5th. He is on track to be active on May 24th as far as when he's eligible, but the plan is to have him there on May 25th at home against the Rockies. I believe that's Dave Roberts' World Series day. Tyler Glasnow, lower back spasms, late May, kind of is the prognosis. So Dave Roberts says nothing really significant. I think they're going to take their time with that. The Brusdar Graterol update. He's recovering from right shoulder surgery. Began a minor league rehab assignment on May 2nd. He's likely going to take the max 30 days to build up. So we'll see possibly June a return for him. Landon Knack's been dealing with the right intercostal strain. Transferred to the 60-day IL on April 28th. He's going to be back at some point this year. Of course, even if he is healthy, there's no guaranteed to be on the roster, the 26-man roster, unless there's some injuries. Gavin Stone, right shoulder inflammation, transferred to the 60-day IL on April 1st. There was some imaging a while ago, of course, that showed no structural damage did start a throwing program. So he's basically doing a spring training ramp up. That was the info as of early May. Jay Cousins recovered from Tommy John surgery. Bobby Miller, right shoulder soreness at some point in 2026. He has been throwing off a mound, so that's good. Evan Phillips started throwing bullpen sessions mid-March, so that's ramping up. You're going to see him in the second half of 2026, so that definitely is a positive. Edwin Diaz, no update, dealing with that loose bodies, the surgery that came with that. Brock Stewart on the 15-day IL. He said this past weekend that he's not going to, that he's going to be on the 15-day IL, and he's probably going to be on there for like 3 weeks, so it's going to be a while for him. Tommy Edman transferred to the 60-day IL. Nothing too new for that because he was going to be ready anyway. But that's where the injuries are at. So it's not like there's that many. I mean, Blake Snell's back. Mookie Betts is back. I mean, outside of Edwin Diaz and Brock Stewart, Tommy Edman, Kike Hernandez, I mean, you basically have a good enough squad to not be playing the way you're playing right now. Let's just put it like that. But let's get to your comments. I'm very interested to hear what you guys have to say. Actually, no, before we get into that, let's get into your comments here. See what else you have to hit. We got Shohei on the mound tonight, so I'm going to look out for the post-game show. 0.96 ERA. Him and Christopher Sanchez, Mason Miller, Nolan McLean in the Cy Young mix in the National League. Here's my thing with Shohei in the Cy Young is just, it'd be great. I'd love it, but what's the cost at this point? I mean, is it really infecting the hitting? Only time will tell. But I have to admit, selfishly, I really want to see him win that award. By the way, shout out to Ice Cube yesterday. I knew that with him there today would be a good day, at least for Shohei Ohtani. Hit a home run with him in the booth. You had Mike Epps as the surprise catcher, Day from Friday. Great movie. But yeah, it's cool seeing Ice Cube there. I don't know if he gave Shohei any advice before the game. Did he say, you can do it, put your bat into it? You can do it, put your bat into it. Okay, who knows that song? Classic, but all right, let's get into your guys' thoughts, comments, and questions about your boys in blue here on the 7th inning stretch.
The 7th inning stretch.
All right, let's get into your comments. First, let's see if anyone has any good solutions. I mean, we're talking Major League 2, getting out of the slump. I mean, what are we talking about here? Because I think when you look at where this Dodgers team's at, you can seriously try to have a plan. And, yeah, here we go. We got Shohei Ohtani not hitting. But let's see if I got any good responses here. We've got... Ripley says, I don't think it's a coaching issue. They're striking out way too much. They've had some bad luck with the bases loaded. Unfortunately, this is baseball. Peaks and valleys. Can't get too high, can't get too low. Should work itself out. Eventually, it will get better. Hopefully, it won't be too late. 700 games played over the last 4 years. It might be catching up to him. And that's something that I feel when I go to Dodger Stadium tomorrow, I think that's the one I'm going to ask Dave Roberts is, at some point, it's kind of the low-hanging fruit for sure, just because, they played a lot of baseball, but at some point, World Series, WBC, all of the issues with some of the injuries and things like that, you kind of wonder if it is that, but I don't think it's all of that. But that's kind of where you need Kyle Tucker, man. That's kind of the point of a Kyle Tucker is if you have a Kyle Tucker, you feel like you have someone that's in his prime that hasn't played those deep series that you want to see in those situations. And someone mentioned with the bases loaded how the Dodgers have fared in those situations, and it certainly hasn't been pretty. It has not been pretty there, where you had multiple opportunities. You saw last night. That's certainly an area where there is a concern. All right, let's get more into it here. So who else we got? We've got Fire Roberts or get some different hitting coaches. This is unacceptable from this Dodgers dynasty. We the chance for the past 2 years. We got to do something else from Bills Mania. Andy, bruh, it's only May. We got swept by the Angels, Brewers, and Astros twice last year, and things turned out all right at the end. Exactly. You went 0-6 against the Angels last year, and you still won the World Series. So this is kind of where it's at. Fire the hitting coaches, slumps come and go. Same story each year, small blip. I tend to agree that this isn't the big concern that everyone's kind of making out to be. But still, I mean, you can't just completely coast throughout the season and expect to win. They'll win again in 2027 from Corpino, Justin Lamas. They look like 9 Hollywoods out there. There we go. Don't panic in large friendly letters. What's up, Muad'Dib? Lord Farquaad, offense was awful the entire postseason last year, and that was with Ohtani raking extended to this season. We got everyone who's playing the Dodgers like the World Series. Dodgers ain't worried. Let's go. Y'all are delusional. LOL. Who said fire Roberts? Rest here for the Dodgers. Feels like it. I hope not. I mean, especially with the new CBA and they're looking for the salary cap. We'll probably hit that at some point this week. D-Mac looks like he did it all for the Mookie. Looks like a Fred Durst. Muad'Dib 69. I love it. I actually, it's funny. I was like super young. It was like in like second grade or something. And I got a red Yankees hat because of Fred Durst. And my friends were like, D-Mac, aren't you like the biggest Dodgers fan? Why the heck are you wearing a Yankees hat? And I was like, oh, yeah. And I just never wore it again. My mom got mad at me because I made her buy it for me. So anyways, there's that story. All right, let's see what else we got. Here we go. Mookie for Neto. Interesting. Trying to make some trades. How long will Stewart be out? At least 3 weeks. Shelly Lawrence. Glass now needs yoga 2, more Pilates. Hey, that's not bad. I mean, I got into some Pilates because after my back surgery, built some strength around the core. I'm on my weight loss journey, guys. No more glizzies for your boy for at least a couple weeks. But the Padres are in first. Okay, cool. Have a parade at Gaslamp. Hang the banner. We know they are. .96 was his batting average the last 2 weeks, too. Jose Aguirre. I love it. That's a pretty good line. That's pretty messed up, though. We're not slandering Shohei. Doug, this team can't have a guy hitting below 269, hitting less than 24. Yeah, there's that. I see what you did right there, D-Mac. Oh, yeah, good times. Freddie is old. Trade for Murakami. Yeah, Murakami looks like that was good. But here's the thing, though. Muncie's been the Dodgers' best hitter, so let's not forget that. World Series hangover, Corpino. Okay, cool. Dodgers slumping right now. D-Mac, do you think the Dodgers need to press the panic button? Absolutely not. There is no panic button pressing for this organization. It's a very long season. You're still right there in first place, and most of your lineup hasn't hit for a while. Things are going to turn. It's not fun. It's kind of one of those things where it's like it's going to end. It's like it just sucks while you're going through it. Like, it just sucks. Yeah, Pablo, I'll tell you the story one of these days. Don't worry, I'm good. I'm back to 100%. Must be a new listener to the show. I think you guys know that. D-Mac with a summer bod, though. Deep 69. That's the goal, man. Trying to look like Hesung Kim. Probably end up still looking like Lance Lynn. What up, Muad'Dib? Woohoo. Orlando wasn't rushing their best hitter. Yeah, skinny D-Mac ain't a Turner lover. Nando. What's up, Nando? You guys are bringing it. I love it. Sheriff Bart, I will always support my club, but right now they're the lost swaggerless Dodgers. Wow. Deep. That's kind of the comment of the show. I have to use that. Credit you, though, Sheriff. There's a different vibe than last year. You don't panic until after Memorial Day. It's a good point. We haven't hit Memorial Day. After that, there's still these long struggles. Then you're going to kind of think about it. But right now, I think you're in a good spot. But all right, guys, we are running out of time. We'll be back later. Don't worry. Hit the post game. But we're out of time. So let's get to the walk-off.
The walk-off.
Hits the ball to right field. She is gone!
Okay, so I want to get you guys' thoughts on this celebration that the Giants outfielders had the other day when they beat the Dodgers in the first game of this series. Major League Baseball has since reached out to the Giants to make sure they don't do the celebration again. Let's all watch it together. I want to get your thoughts.
3 in the 9th, and very nice.
First of all, I know that a lot of people are going to hate on that, and I've tried to get Noel and Big Dog Rob to do this celebration with me. They refused to do it. Antonio, though, said that he would do it with me. I don't know. Should we recreate this video? Your thoughts? By the way, any Dodgers fan who's hating on this, what do you have to say about Kike Hernandez and Gavin Lux doing this? I mean, Jung-Hoo Lee. Okay, Corpino, I'm going to laugh at that. Not going to read that. Very nice. Very nice. Good stuff. But yeah, no, this is it is pretty wild that Major League Baseball had reached out to had reached out. This is thrusting celebration. There's a little bit of a backlash here. So this is from Major League Baseball, a very different celebration. By the way, the Giants manager Tony Vitello said, "I like that. I like that for sure." And he said that the skipper had eyes on elsewhere on the final out, but when informed of the respectful gesture that took place of the barely safe for work one of the previous nights to provide his stamp of approval. And Jung-Hoo Lee, Helio Ramos with Drew Gilbert, they were at center field, and they dropped their gloves, placed their hands on their hearts, and bent at the waist before joining the high five line. So, yeah, they definitely switched it up after. And Vitello said there was a meeting today, but that was a side note. It was a fun meeting. We just need everybody on board, kind of overall the process and approach we're trying to take. So the original celebration went viral overnight, and by the time the team returned to Dodger Stadium on Tuesday, they were doing their best to divert attention towards their play on the field before the game. Bader declined to comment on what took place the previous night, and Gilbert said they planned to switch things up. It didn't take long for them to get another chance, with some apparent influence from Lee, whose Korean culture uses the gesture as a greeting and a sign of respect. Interesting. Vitello, in fact, has taken a bowing toward Lee, for which he expressed appreciation. So, yeah, it said if Monday's act left Lee feeling uncomfortable, he didn't show any indication the following night. He was about as animated as ever. So, yeah, interesting stuff. Let's see what you guys have to say. Do we give it a bruh? ABD, D-Mac, the team can blow it up if they do not win this year. Interesting. Doyers need to stop being you-know-whats and hit the Giants for hitting rushing. Okay, I like that. Hey, baseball's got to police itself. Interesting. That could provide a spark to this team. They got to just plunk someone, maybe. Honestly, I know that I don't want to see them get hurt, but respectfully, yeah, they did go Dolan rushing. I wouldn't be mad at it. I really wouldn't. Yeah, Lowe's Doyer says, I'm so tired of people saying relax is early, dude. I am everyone clown. Yeah, they're still close. R. Carino, D-Mac cracking me up. I need to keep it together here in the library. What's up, R. Carino? Always rocking it. All right, guys, so that's going to do it, though. A free Puig, that's funny. Okay, Nando, shirtless Tony Taters in the San Francisco celebration. Yeah, we got to do it. We're going to recreate it. Jose says, the Giants want to BS so bad. I love that, too. And this is a Kike thing. I know they do. All right, guys, so that's going to do it for this episode of Dodgers Dugout Live. My name is Doug McCain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMac_LA. If you have any ideas, a huge favor, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, drop a like, drop a comment, and remember that nothing, absolutely nothing, brings us together quite like Dodger baseball. And until next time, think blue.